Yes, you made mention earlier, that you were proud of Senator Coburn. Are you in agreement with this Gang of Six, with what they're doing?
Today?
The Gang of Six. You heard about that on the news? I mean, Gang of Six, however you call it.
Yeah, I'm aware of the Gang of Six. I cannot speak as to the proposal today.
Coburn, he spoke yesterday on Sean Hannity, and I believe he spoke today on, was it Mark Levin?
Today was Hannity.
But the Hannity, and
yesterday was
Hannity, and I think today was Mark Levin, if I'm not mistaken. And he was questioned on this Gang of Six proposal, where he and these 3 Democrats, along with his 2 buddies, which makes him number 3 on the Republican side, that wanted to offer a proposal, I guess, to give Obama more power to raise the debt limit. Of course, he didn't articulate it very well to me, but I would assume that you had caught up on it since you're running for the seat that you're running for. Given that you mentioned that you were proud that Coburn, you were very proud, to have known him. So I would assume that you have been keeping up on.
Coburn's not been a part of the Gang of Six until this weekend. He left the Gang of Six when the talks broke down. If I were in Congress, I would stick to the Constitution. I would not delegate the authority of the Congress to the President to borrow money. But now what we have here on the debt ceiling is that the debt ceiling's been raised some 89 times over the course of our country. And it's a law that says Congress, even though they've spent the money, Congress has already voted to spend all this money. And the way that works is, and some of you may or may not know, and I'm not an expert on it, but I'll tell you, Congress's job is to appropriate money. It's the Treasurer, the Secretary of the Treasury, his job is to take the money that's been spent, to find that money, to send it out to wherever it goes. So Congress is up on Capitol Hill spending all this money as fast as they can, and he's down here trying to find the money, and he's out of money. So he's having to borrow it from us, he's selling T-bills to the people, he's borrowing it from China, but he's to the point in 2 weeks where there's no money. Even though Congress has spent the money, he can't find it to pay the bills. So what we have is Congress has spent the money, and now the bill has come due, and the question is, are we going to pay it? That's the issue. The first answer to that question is the money has to stop being spent up on Capitol Hill. If they're not spending the money, the debt ceiling's not an issue. It's only an issue if they're spending more money than we have. What this is an opportunity for is for the conservatives in Congress and those that want to bring our debt down. This is an opportunity for them to get enormous spending cuts from Obama that he would otherwise never agree with. This $9 trillion proposal I thought was a wonderful opportunity for Coburn to look at when he mentioned it Monday. How many of you remember in the mid-90s, we had a guy elected to Congress named Newt Gingrich? And the government was growing, and he said we need a balanced budget amendment. And he went to Washington, and Bill Clinton was president, and they went up there and they had the contract with America, and they did a lot of good things. But when it got time they came home, and I was working for a congressman at the time, they came home and they said, we've balanced the budget. The budget is balanced. And I was sitting there saying, no, you haven't. Let me tell you why they never balanced the budget. They were taking the Social Security money that we send in out of our payroll taxes. They're putting it over here into the general fund, raising it up to where it looked like it was balanced. All the while there was a gaping hole over here where the Social Security money was supposed to go. So Clinton came out and he said, we don't need a balanced budget amendment, we've got a balanced budget. Look, everyone said, yeah, we don't need that, we've got a balanced budget. And then he said, well, what if we get into war? Then the balanced budget amendment will really throw us off and won't be able to pay for war. Well, so we didn't pass the balanced budget amendment. Now we're in 2 wars. We don't have the money to pay for them. We have not paid for them. We've borrowed to pay for them. And we yet don't have the balanced budget amendment. So the balanced budget amendment would have solved
4 wars. It's 4 wars.
Who can count? Who's counting? So we do need a balanced budget amendment. I would have voted for it in the 90s. Bill Clinton could have done it had he wanted to, because the Congress was pushing him to do it, and they didn't do it. That Congress, Newt Gingrich's Congress, left business undone. They did not fix the Social Security Trust Fund, and they didn't. The important reason we sent that Congress in 1994 was to get a balanced budget amendment, and Clinton stopped it. What Clinton didn't know is that a Republican president following him would be the one that would run our budget up as he did and create a platform for Obama to take it yet another level. So we saw because we didn't have it, we went into these wars, we couldn't pay for them, there was no way to stop it because we didn't have a balanced budget amendment. Congress was not going to, we had a Republican Congress, they were not going to tell the Republican president, no, you can't go to war because we're not going to pay for it. Now look at us. So 14 trillion later, and that doesn't include all the other numbers. Lonnie, did you have a question?
How do you feel about amnesty?
Well,
And what do you think the solution to the problem?
the immigration issue?
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's an issue
It's
that...
not an immigration issue, it's an illegal
Yeah,
immigration issue.
you know, Lonnie, without getting into a lot of details on that, my position is we can't even afford to take care of those that we have here. Our government is struggling to keep the entitlements going for those that are here, our American citizens. How in the world we can even get into the thought of those is something that I don't think.
We can't even get.
Unfortunately, when we're broke, we don't have to look beyond those things. We can't afford it. So, yes, sir. Did you have a question? I'm sorry.
All
Yes.
right, well, I'll give you one. I read here where you said the Second Amendment means what it says. I'm getting really tired of people getting up here and telling us, I believe in the Second Amendment, and then the next thing you know, they're just for hunting. Now, you said you were a hunter. Well,
No. I said my son was.
Oh, well, if you're not, I just want to know where you stand. Is it?
I think the Second Amendment was created to allow people to be armed and protect them from their government. That's what it says. I can read it to you. That's what it means.
I know what it says. I just want to hear.
That's what I think it means. Secondarily to that, if you have a gun to keep you from the government, I don't think the government can tell you you can't go shoot a deer with that gun. But, you know, that's what it says.
Oh, you got mine in there?
They're not photo. Some of you may disagree, but I think that's what the founding fathers intended. And I don't think we can get away from the true intent. I believe when we look at the Constitution, we have to look at the original intent language.
You passed the test.
Okay.